Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Sharks news and rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined by Alex Hutton. Alex, how's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me. Been a long time since we've done one of these, but happy to be back at it again.
For sure, and the Sharks are doing quite well. They're they're in the playoff conversation still. Every video we've talked, pretty much, they've been in the playoffs. So it's actually a really encouraging, I guess, for Sharks fans right now that they're still continuing on the right track. Although Macklin Celebrini is the biggest reason why they are in the position. We've talked about that for sure as well. But before we get into the more recent stuff, I got to talk about a shift, I guess, from what they've been usually doing is, getting rid of veterans as trading them. But they actually re-signed one of them, and that's Alex Wennberg signing a 3-year extension. And usually he'd be a guy that they would probably look at trading. What'd you think about that shift in kind of thinking already? We'll talk about the trades later on, but re-signing a veteran rather than trading him away.
I like it because it shows that commitment, that pivot to sort of next era. I think the contract and the amount of money makes sense given the rising salary cap. And I like that they're taking the season they've had and how surprising it's been to see it as an opportunity to sort of start moving into the next phase of things.
For sure. And I mean, he's been pretty good. And you've talked about veterans that seem to be able to elevate their game in San Jose and then get traded for a pretty good return because of how they've played. Mikhail Granlund's a perfect example of that. Parlayed that into a big contract in Anaheim. And that's a guy that maybe they would re-sign now, looking at the team. But at that point, they were still in kind of that rebuilding. Not saying they're out of the rebuild yet, but they're on the right track. And Wenberg now is going to be part of that for the next 3 years, which that's good on him too, because he doesn't want to bolt. He thinks this is a good spot to be in rather than, wanting to be traded somewhere else. I to maybe make a lot more money. So that's a good sign all around for sure. All right, moving to the more recent trade, and that is Kiefer Sherwood getting traded to the San Jose Sharks from the Vancouver Canucks. I, you know, I know him very well, of course, covering the Canucks. He was probably their best player this season. MVP, led the team in scoring when he left, 17 goals on the season so far. He had a career high 19 last season, and that he's on pace to blow by that as long as he gets back from injury really quick here. What do you think about this trade? I mean, talking about shift, he's now their Greer is buying rather than selling. He traded a couple second round picks, one this year, one next year. And then I mean, an AHL player. He's probably just a throw in there. What do you think about this trade, Sherwood coming to the Sharks?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure how he fits into the team yet. Coming back from the injury is going to be interesting to see how he slides into that top nine. But I can definitely live with the return. A lot of the stuff you speculated there was a pretty high price for him. But I think the two second rounders and a prospect are ultimately a pretty good deal. I think that he is someone who they have to figure out what they're going to do farther than this. You would assume that a trade like this is going to come with some kind of extension, but there was nothing in place, and they're already just going through they're not seeing eye to eye on what his next contract should be. So that's something they have to figure out. And like it's hard to say for sure where it's going to go. Are they going to try to flip him again closer to the trade deadline, or are they going to end up working out some kind of deal to keep him around? That's the big question right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's speculation that they might actually flip him again, trade him again to somewhere else, and then maybe get something even more than the Canucks got with a couple second round picks. They were looking for a first. I don't know if even the Sharks would be able to get a first round pick from another team, because if a team was offering a first round pick, I think he would have been traded a long time ago. So I mean, it's an interesting thing. I mean, obviously you want something back. You're not going to want him to walk in free agency. If they can trade him and there's not, I mean, I'm sure they're going to be talking about an extension. and seeing if that's something. But I like the trade. I think the Sharks kind of showing the fan base that they're actually maybe pushing for a playoff because the thing is Sherwood's a playoff guy. He's a guy you want in the playoffs because of how he plays, right? So we'll see how it all goes for the rest of the season. I don't think they're going to trade him again. I think they got him for a reason, and as long as they're in that playoff area, I think he's going to stay. All right. Well, we'll keep on the subject of trades, and that's the rumor going around that Braden Schneider. They're interested in Braden Schneider from the Rangers. This is now looking more again buying, although Schneider's quite young. We talked about upgrading the defense. There's a lot of veteran pieces, and then of course the young guys. What do you think about Braden Schneider potentially coming over?
I'm open to it. It would have to be for the right price, obviously, and you don't want them to push too hard to be buyers right now when the rebuild is still kind of in progress. When we talked about this where yes, they're in a playoff spot right now, but a lot of the underlying numbers aren't great. So you get the sense that they still need to build up the rest of the roster outside of Celebrini a little bit more. So you don't want to sell off too many prospects and picks and things like that. But one thing they really do need is good young right shot defensemen. That's exactly what Schneider is. So if they can find the right price, and I would definitely encourage them to do that. I think that would be a good move because the development curve for defensemen is pretty long, and you don't want to have to rely entirely on the draft to pull that off.
Yeah, and Schneider's again, he's very young still. He's still developing, but he has a lot of NHL experience already, and that's a guy could maybe grow in with this where they are as a team right now. So yeah, I do think that it would be good, depending on the price, like you said, if what the Rangers want for him, if they are open to trading him away. And I mean, the Rangers are in a position, it seems like, that they're not going to be making the playoffs and they'll be trading quite a few guys, Artemi Panarin being a big one there. I think they might, it's just interesting they'd be trading a young defenseman like that. But I mean, you never know, depending on what they want in return. So we'll see if the Sharks stay involved in that. All right. Well, I mean, I've alluded to it a few times here. Has Greer shifted from being a seller, completely being a seller, to now buying? I mean, the couple, Schneider being in the rumors, he traded for Sherwood. I Is it maybe a hybrid? Would he still be trading guys like Klingberg, or is this, focusing on the playoffs? Because you wouldn't be wanting to trade a guy like that.
I think that's sort of somewhat like kind of in between is the right way to look at it. You've got a lot of veteran defensemen of last year their contracts uh, going into this offseason, so I think they are going to look to test the market on those guys, see what's going on, and like I said a minute ago, you don't want to push too hard for the playoffs right now because as great as it would be, you certainly want to try to make the playoffs this year with as good of a season as they're having, and you want to give those young players, those guys want to keep around for long. I mean, you want to give them a taste of the playoffs as early as possible because I think that encourages them to want to stay. But you can't sell off way too much and effort to get like a few players in just to push for a playoff spot this season because they're going to be a better team in a season or two down the line where they're really going to contend rather than this season where they might squeak in. So you want to set up for those seasons. I think a little bit more than you want to make playoffs this year. You want to do both. There's got to be a balance there to figure out how to strike that balance.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is they're not like the Colorado Avalanche. We're like, yeah, definitely playoffs for sure. So I mean, it is you don't want to go all in right now because I mean the Sharks aren't in a position to do that. Like, it's not a fully solid team where every piece of the team is fine. I mean, Macklin Celebrini is carrying a lot of their offense. And I mean, without him, where would the Sharks be? Not where they are, and that's the thing. I mean, can a team like that succeed in the playoffs with just one guy carrying the everything? I think, yeah, like you said, they're not. You don't want to go all in right now. They're still developing. It'd be great to make the playoffs, get that experience for the young guys, because I don't know if they're going to be going very far. They'll probably be out in the first or, I mean, maybe second round, depending on who they match up against. But most likely it's just a first round appearance. And I mean, that's good for the youth to get that pressure and know what it's like. So, but yeah, you don't want to be trading away a lot of young pieces and stuff like that. They only had to give up the second round picks for Sherwood. That's not a big deal. But if you're going into the realm of trading guys like Eklund, like, then you're kind of, oh, I don't know if we want to be doing that, or even some of their more high end blue chip prospects. So yeah, I do agree with that for sure. All right, we'll finish the video with you just wrote an article on this, and that's Macklin Celebrini having potential to win the Hart Trophy. Obviously, there are the guys that most likely will win it. Nathan MacKinnon being the biggest one. Connor McDavid will be in that conversation as well. But with what Celebrini has done this season, already over 70 points, he should be in the conversation for sure. So, you know, do you think he can win it?
I think it's a possibility. Yeah, I think I want to say he's the third highest odds right now. So I mean, he's right there. I think you look at the exact language, the player judged to be the most valuable to his team. And so I think the question you get into is, do you want someone like a Nathan McKinnon who takes a good team and elevates them into an elite team, or do you want someone like Alex Wennberg who's taking a bad team and elevating them to a playoff team? So I think there's legitimate arguments to be had on either side of it, but you rarely in hockey see a single player elevate an entire team this much the way he's doing it this season, and so that has to be taken into consideration and given some attention.
I mean, like you say, the definition is the player most adjudged to be the most valuable to his team. Well, I think Celebrini, that you remove him from the Sharks. Like I said earlier, they're not where they are. You remove Nathan MacKinnon from the Avalanche. Well, probably not where they are either, but they still have some other guys that can do it. Martin Necas, Cale Makar. There's other guys that will probably still keep them in the conversation of being a playoff team. Obviously, not to the dominance that because McKinnon's he's got so many points. Same thing with McDavid. You take him off the Oilers, they got Draisaitl. He's not the reason they're a good team. So I mean, that's a big thing. Celebrini's like right now the Sharks. He's the guy that's keeping them where they are. But yeah, I think he probably fits the definition the most at this point. All right. Well, I mean, Sharks are in a great position right now. We'll see if they can continue it and what they do at the deadline because they might have some more trades. They're like they're already in they're still in the rumors in the trade market. So I will see what Greer does. So thanks, Alex, for coming on, talking Sharks as always. We'll keep touching base with you as the season goes on because I mean, the Sharks, if they make the playoffs, that's a monster, monster development in their rebuilding effort, and it'd be good for them to make the playoffs, like I said earlier. So, sure, checking out everything at thehockeybears.com. We've got great articles throughout the site. We've got our Substack newsletter. You can take a look at that, and then all of our other videos on the YouTube channel. But until our next one, we will see you next time.